Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There I am. I want you to see my face as I say good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Saturday morning. Guys, we are about a week out from Mother's Day, so you still have time to figure out what amazing gift you will get for your mother, or as Faye reminded me, whoever mothered you, or if your mother has transitioned, this is a good time to reflect on the lessons of our mothers. One of the books that Faye and Tony and I did in the past, an anthology called Kingdom Vision for Audacious Women, Lessons from Our Mothers. And then we are also in the North County Anthology. So I am Marie Chewe-Elliott, and I am your host today with co-host Faye Fleming. And I have a long history with writing and what I call just chasing words, from starting as a journalist to transitioning that to communications in corporate and government settings over almost the last 40 years. It's hard for me to say that, but that's true. I am so pleased to introduce our features today. Before I do that, though, I want to also introduce my creative partner who is on today, Miss Toni Creighton, just an amazing storyteller and poet and visual artist, co-founded North County Writing and Arts with me. Is still the wind beneath my wings, because I'm telling y'all, I quit every month, okay? And Toni pulls me together and says, okay, let's go on. You know, every time you plan, God laughs. And so we laugh about that all the time. So I'm happy that she can be here today. And our features are Faye, who is co-hosting with me today. Faye is a Fortune 500 consultant and speaker, an entrepreneur for many years, an author and poet, a mother. And while she has a master's degree and years of senior level experience, she uses her talents to help people succeed and to struggle less. Faye is curious about people and places since childhood and loves hearing and writing about the human experience. She is compassionate about her faith and believes, as she says, that God always has a ram in the bush. Welcome, Faye.
Thank you.
Teresa Sweeney, wave, Teresa. Teresa earned her Master's of Fine Arts in Writing from Washington University. Her thesis, a book of poems, is titled The Vanishing Point. Her poems have been published in River Styx and Kansas Quarterly and have won several awards from Kansas Quarterly and most recently the Wednesday Club. We were there with her for her win at the Wednesday Club. After a long career in higher ed, teaching literature, including one of the first courses on Harry Potter, titled The Course That Must Not Be Named.
Right.
Writing and Rhetoric, Technical and Business Writing, as well as tutoring and advising. She has landed in the corporate world, where she currently serves as a financial technical writer in the Central Stress Testing Oversight Department of U.S. Bank. Teresa is married to Steve Call.
Yep.
Steve Call, historian and writer, and they are the happy parents of two amazing daughters, Zoë and Esmé. Please welcome Teresa.
Thank you.
And Righteous, who we heard from just a little earlier about his name, made us all start thinking about what our name should be. Righteous is, as he describes himself on one of his sites, a systems engineer by day, but we know him because he is a poet, a podcaster, an accomplished spoken word artist, and more. Oh, I left out producer, Righteous, because I was going to say poet, producer, podcast. I was trying to get my alliteration thing going, guys.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
poet, producer, and podcaster, and much, much more. So we want to welcome all of you today, and we thank you so much for joining us to talk about this very important topic a week out from Mother's Day. I think this is probably one of the most celebrated holidays across the country and across the world, I'm sure, for mothers, and how especially mothers influence our creative and literary work. So I have a couple of questions, but guys, this is a conversation and reading. So we're going to ask the poets and features to talk, but then we also want you to talk as well. So for anybody who is not on as a feature, just drop in the name of your mom in the chat right now. Let's just pull up these the spirit of all the wisdom and experiences that the mothers have. Good morning, Kim. Come on. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey.
If you can, if you're where you can write, just drop in the name of your mom into the chat. We're gonna ask for some participation from you this morning. We have a few enough of you to just say your mom's name real quick if you don't want to chat.
Thank you, Doreen. Tamia, Teresa.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We are being very intentional about capturing the lessons of the mothers today. And so I'll go ahead, Faye, and start with you with the breadth of corporate, and as Demita said, also some nonprofit experience, all kinds of business leadership. I think in your vast educational background, there's a couple of master's degrees and all kinds of things there, but you chose to write about motherhood. So tell us about Motherwit and why you chose that as your book, as opposed to maybe another book on leadership or all of these other things that we see.
Well, thank you, Marie. What I will tell you from my heart is that there are plenty of books on leadership. I very closely remember people saying many times to me, if you see something, say something. Well, that's not my philosophy. If you see something that's wrong, do something, right?
Right.
So I think about all the people in our community and all the people who, for lack of, they don't have influence, which means they don't have impact, they don't have affluence. What they need, though, is they need a word. And one of the things that really reminds me about that is many times I'm in conversation and people are saying, oh, I can't believe that young women are acting like this, dressing like this, or I can't believe, these kinds of things are going on in our community. They should go back to their home training. Well, what if they didn't have home training? And because I don't believe that any of us wake up every day and say, oh, I want to suck. I want to be the worst person on the planet. I want to have no one respect me, no one love me.
Right.
I go on the premise that, most of the time we're all doing the best that we can do. And sometimes you have to be kinder than you have to be.
Right.
So I put my time and talent into really looking at our community and saying, we don't have the old women that sit on the porch anymore to tell us to keep passing that stuff over. And really the emphasis of the book was a memory I had from childhood. One day my mother woke us up, as she did every Saturday, and said it was spring cleaning. Of course, when you're 5, you don't know that spring cleaning does not mean you clean every Saturday, right? But anyway, on this particular Saturday, she was just really fussing at us and pushing us along. And so me and my sister and my brother were sitting in the closet, and to make sure she didn't hear us, we put clothes over our heads and blankets. And we were just in there fussing. Look at mom, she's so mean. I'm never gonna say that stuff to my kid. Fast forward. One day I was dealing with my own daughter, and out of nowhere, it came out of my mouth. I brought you in this world. Don't make me take you out. Go in there right now and do
Yes.
your homework.
Yes.
So that's where the title came from, and from my heart. That's why I wrote the book.
Oh, wow. Wow. I love that. Faye, I was hoping that Bobby would get on, because Bobby Bostic has, I believe it's a poem and maybe even a chapter in his book that is, I Brought You in This World. So, it's one of these phrases that as a parent, you probably think you're never going to say. Well, as a young parent, because the baby's little and cute, and we have all the answers because we've assessed and evaluated our parents, and we're not going to do this, that, whatever, the way they did it. Oh, and then these kids grow up and learn to talk.
Bobby's coming in.
Oh, great, great, great. Okay. Good, good, good. I'm glad he can get on. We'll give him.
So you want to go ahead and introduce one of our other panelists while we wait on him to fully come in?
Yes. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good, 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 Bobby. We are started, but we want to also welcome this morning Mr. Bobby Bostic. Bobby has an amazing story, and we will be talking about his book today, Dear Mama, which between that and the Tupac song is how I came up with the theme for our discussion today. So let's keep going. Faye, did you say something? I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, let's go ahead and introduce our other panelists to give Bobby a chance to get settled.
Okay, all right. Teresa or Righteous, which of you would like to go next?
I can go.
Okay, let's go, let's go. So I know, Righteous, you do so many different facets of creative work. So tell us about the influence of mothers or your mother, or how, just kind of how that manifests in your work.
Initially, somebody's got to mute. But initially, my mother sang when I was young, and that's one of the things I remember as far as being exposed to music, and me starting off wanting to sing myself, and then the whole creative process growing from there. Like that was probably the first thing I ever did creatively, sing with my mother or sing stuff I heard her sing, stuff like that. And the upbringing of bringing us up in the church, her, my sister and I, she brought us up in the church with the Baptist Christian church, with a lot of the traditional sayings that you might expect. The brought you in this world, and I heard that a couple of times. And we're down. We were a Southern family down in New Orleans for most of my years, until I graduated and went on into the military. But yeah, my mother definitely always supported every facet of creativity that I showed. If I wanted to play trumpet, she got, made a way for that. We had like an organ in the house. So there was always something to put my creativity into, growing up. So.
Oh, absolutely. So are there, or is there a recent piece now that you've worked on that comes to mind?
Yes, most definitely.
Okay, well, we'll finish the intros, and then we'll come back and I'll have you guys share some of those, because that's what we're going to get to on the reading part. Great. Teresa, come in, and first you got to tell us about this Harry Potter course, of course. And then I almost wrote you back and said, you realize you can't include that in a bio without having to talk about it, right?
That's cool. So yeah, so I was teaching a freshman seminar, and actually I was teaching one on voices of protest and like abolitionist, Jim Crow, labor, women's movement, civil rights, etc. through time. And
Mhm.
I said to the person who was the seminar coordinator, I said, I'm thinking about teaching, teaching a Harry Potter course. And he's like, do it. So that was at Webster University. So
About 2
I had
minutes.
some really great students in that class I just referenced. And I said, one of them was really good at making titles, all of her essays. So I said, hey, can you give me an idea of a title for a Harry Potter seminar? And she sent me that afternoon 10 possible titles. It was hilarious. And so one of them was the class that must not be named or something like that. And so I just tweaked it a little bit and came up with the course that must not be named. But we had a lot of must-dos in that course, things that had to do with oral speaking and so on and so forth, because it was a freshman seminar. So there were a lot of components that were required that I had to pull in, but I paired Machiavelli's The Prince and excerpts from that with sections from Harry Potter. And so it was very multidisciplinary in that sense. And I taught it for, I think, 5 semesters at Webster, and it was always like sellout course.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, one of the pieces that you have done, we're focusing on mothers and their influence today. You were able to actually write the eulogy
Yes.
for your mother.
Yes, yes. So my mom died at the age of 95 years and 10 months in 2020 during COVID. And
Wow.
she was living in an assisted living facility at that time. So we would have to stand outside her window and talk to her, call her on the phone and talk to her. And it was just really devastating. I'm the youngest of 6 kids, but I'm the speaker writer in the family. So
Wow.
everybody was like, well, yeah, of course. I mean, I offered because I'm the youngest, I offered to my siblings. I said, well, who's going to do the eulogy? And everybody was like, we thought you would. So, I mean, I wanted to, because I don't know, people who write and speak, and I guess we are inclined to want to give voice to the people that we're honoring. And so, yeah, I have taken excerpts from that. Not the entire thing, it's a little bit long, but I have some excerpts from that today that I was thinking of sharing.
Okay. All right. Great. Bobby, are you where you can talk now and share with us?
Muted.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes. Welcome.
Okay.
Welcome.
Oh yeah, I can talk now. Well, my book, Dear Mama, The Life and Struggles of a Single Mother, it's just that book, it just explains everything that single mothers go through, especially trying to raise a boy without a father figure, right? It explains how us as males, young males, don't listen to our mothers. And when they go, everything they say rings true. But sometimes it takes a tragic incident like that for me to realize what happened. Because when I went to jail and she was sharing everything she was going through with my little brother, I was sober then. When I was out there under the influence of peer pressure and drugs, I didn't listen to her.
Right.
And she burned her soul in those letters. I was like, man, why would we take our mom through this stuff, man? This is ridiculous, right? And when I was trying to tell him, he was like, man, you was already doing the same thing a few months ago. So I'm like, man, we can't be doing this stuff, taking her through this and that and the other, because when she burned her soul, I was her son, so it wasn't for her to share her deepest feelings with me. And what she was going through represented a lot of other single mothers.
Right.
So my 3rd year in prison, she died at 42 from cancer, right? And when she died, I was trying to hold on to her, read her letters. And I was like, man, her story can't be in vain. What these mothers go through can't be in vain. So I just came up with the idea to write a book. And of course, as you mentioned about the song, Dear Mama, that was a song I used to play, not knowing she would be walking down the hall and she would be like, boy, play that song for me. And that was just, I couldn't articulate those words back at 16, but when I was 21 and I wrote that book, I was able to articulate it because now I understood from a sociology point of view what mothers, especially single mothers, go through, right? And being a mother is a 24-hour job, and I just never knew the burden that it caused a mother, like when she can't sleep at night because her kids are making mistakes and she feel like it's her fault. And I would always say, Mom, it's not your fault. And she's like, that's something you can never understand. A mother, it's her nature to blame herself. Like, what could she have done different? And it's like, Mama, you shouldn't even have to go through that stress. When you did everything you could do, we chose to do something different. And she's like, well, it's something that you'll never understand until maybe one day you get kids of your own. But a mother's our first teacher. And everything they tell us, it always comes back. One way or the other, it's like, man, she said this, and I just couldn't see it. It's like we rebel against them in our own way, trying to prove to them that we can do different than what they tell us, right? And in the end, it always backfire on us. But when it do, she never come back and say, I told you. So it ain't, the mother's nature is she gonna come there and be there for you. And then she may tell you, like, remember I told you that? But her first thing is to be it's just something God did in the woman that somebody like me can appreciate this. And that now more with women, right? Every time I see mothers with their kids, it's like they whole thing, their whole being is put their kids first to think about what their child needs. It's like God created a beautiful creature in a mother.
Right.
And they everything. They more, to me, they more strong than men. I don't care what we say. A woman is everything. A mother is everything. A job never is. I wrote that book as a tribute to all single mothers. So please read it. Everybody is listening, please read that book because it also tells kids. At the end of the book, I got an essay called Dear Mama and then one called Dear Child. It's telling the child, like, man, please listen to your mother because if she died, then you're gonna regret all the times that you didn't listen to her. And then when you do something finally to make her proud, she won't be able to serve with you in this life of boy because nobody can replace your mother. You only get one mother. So just please listen to them. Like the documentary, Dear Mama just came out, watch that, and just get pointers, man, our mothers, just appreciate it. There's some people that we can't hug ours, we can't, like when I graduated from college, she couldn't be there, she couldn't see, she knew my potential, she always believed me, but my mama, appreciate them, and to all the mothers out there, I salute y'all, and Mother's Day is every day, it ain't just one day of the year.
Yeah,
Mother's
I think
Day we celebrate every day.
That's one of your poems in the book too, right, Bobby? Mother's Day is every day.
Yeah, it is.
And I love
so
that.
And
I also love the fact that in every letter that you shared, that your mom was writing you while you were in prison, she never stopped pouring hope and love into you. She never stopped reminding you that you had the opportunity to be great. She absolutely was the epitome of unconditional, I call it that, unfailing mother love. My son and I were talking about this yesterday, and he was saying, like, and he's about your age, he's like, yeah, mother's love is second only to God, okay? Nobody else can love us. I don't care who you fall for, crush on, whatever, just know. And your mother was very clear about that, I think, as she tried to share, you know, the stories you shared about her and the things she would tell you and your brother Sean, especially when she felt like you guys were running the streets and not listening to her. And one line that I think many of us have heard, I was hoping my mom would be on today because she has definitely said to me when I was younger, Mama won't tell you nothing wrong. Okay, like she just wanted to affirm, she wanted to make sure that I understood that anybody else may tell you anything for any reason, but what you're getting from here, You know, this is it. And I saw a lot of that and heard a lot of that in your stories about your mother. And also there was one, I brought you into this world.
And yeah,
That-
you see how I explained that in that chapter?
Yeah,
Like they not saying they gonna kill us. They just saying that, man, they do everything for us. They gonna take that quarter of us out that they didn't raise us to be. And they go about every movement in their life to take that part out of us because they
That's
didn't
right.
raise us to do that. And just every it's unspeakable what they do. And as you said, mothers are our first teachers. Next to God, they everything and they sacred. It's just the book speaks for itself, but some things are unexplainable. It's like you said, you wish your mother could have heard it. But the good thing is she heard to see how what you turned out to be. And
Yes.
because even our worst is our mothers are our greatest first believers. They believe in our
Yes.
future even before we.
Yes,
It's like you can be this, you can be that.
right.
I used to wonder, like, they pass their dreams on to us or what? It's like when they was turned in their belly, did they see our greatness or what? Because when we come out, they always see the greatness that we can be, no matter what. We can be at our worst point in life. Only thing they can see is their child potential. And it's like,
Yes,
if you
yes,
do this, then you can deceive. Yeah,
absolutely.
they tell us we can deceive whatever they accomplish in life. They tell us we can deceive that 10 times because that's how much they believe in their kids, right? And we
Right,
got to live up to, if we can't meet they standards all the way, let's meet them halfway.
right, absolutely. Thank you for
So this is
that.
where I go in. Thank you too.
So let's go, let's hear some of the works, guys. Faye, do you have some pieces from Motherhood that you want to share?
Yes, and I'll do it quickly because we don't have a lot of time left. I pulled out some quotes from 3 sections. The first one is life lessons. And one thing is this: you cannot conquer what you will not face.
Mm,
So if you guys would drop into chat what that feels like in your life, what you think about that, then we'll record chat and we'll capture your thoughts.
mhm.
The other one is that, you know, people are hesitant to start over. So I say, start with where you are and what you have to work with. It's easy. It's not difficult. In relationships, one quote is, great beginnings often have terrible endings. Do your homework and wait until you understand context. Another one is, past behavior is still the best predictor of future performance. So pay attention.
Right,
And I see a lot of people that enter into relationships and say, oh, she'll never do me like that. Oh, well, he treated her like that because of X or whatever, right?
Right.
If you're in a relationship,
right,
past behavior is your best prediction of how this relationship might go for you. And you need to understand context before you move forward. And then 2 more under your spirit and self-care. This one I live by. To hear more from God, practice listening.
That's
Because many
rich.
times we spend our time with God talking and praying and asking. And then we say, I've been praying about this for months now.
Right,
When are you going to answer? And
right,
sometimes I envision God saying, when are you going to be quiet and listen?
right,
I am answering you.
right.
And
Thank
the other
you,
thing
thank you.
is that what we say to ourselves is infinitely more powerful than anything anybody else says about us.
Yes,
So I have trained myself and people that I mentor that it's a form of self-abuse
mm-hmm.
to repeat things over and over again that you've embraced or you've heard other people say. So those are the quotes I will share with you, and then I'll cede the floor to our other great writers and poets.
Okay, all right. We'll stay in the same order then. Righteous, you want to go next? Do you have a piece that you want to highlight today? Unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there you go.
All right. Yes. The piece is entitled Teleflora, like the florist delivery company.
Yes, okay.
So it's kind of a work in progress, but it's like a song in progress, basically.
Okay.
So I'll go into it. Here's to my mama's mama, Imadora. Here's to my daddy's mama, Elnora. My dear and granny passed on, they still got flowers for 'em, and I'll deliver fresh every time, Teleflora. She never claimed perfection. Scars are easy to see, but she'll never be so flawed that I can't see the goddess in she. Nature versus nurture, the debate goes on, but her love and sacrifice helped make us strong. Her spirit's untamable, most of her stories untold. How can I dare define her, to confine her soul, when her essence is beyond any boundaries or holes? She gives love and lives with a heart so pure. Her journey, her struggles, her endurance, a treasure to endure. I speak to you all, children of mothers who gave you life. She made it right through turmoil and strife. When you couldn't find your way, she was your guiding light. You couldn't read the warning signs, and she made you right. Pen in flight, staying up all night. Peace to the goddess. Word to my mama's mama, Elnora. Word to my daddy's mama, Imadora. My dear and granny gone, still got flowers for 'em, and I deliver fresh every time, Teleflora.
Wow, 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 wow.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's an awesome, awesome tribute to not only your mother, but to your paternal and maternal grandmothers, the generations of mothers. And now that I am a grandmother, that's one of the things that I hope that I can continue to have influence, through the generations, whether I'm here or not. It is still my hope that that will carry on through the generations. So thank you so much for sharing that. Teresa, we'll go to you.
All right, thanks. So I think in the interest of time, I took excerpts, but I'm going to further excerpt the excerpts.
Okay.
So let me just jump to a part, one of the couple of anecdotes about my mom. So the eulogy was titled "We'll Take the Wind," and you'll see why.
Okay.
My mom's name is Teresa Bernadette Haggerty Sweeney. So this was part of the entire eulogy. One day, while sitting outside with mom on a windy day when she was 90 years old, she mildly complained about the wind. Then she stopped herself and looked up at the sky and said, "I'm sorry, God. I'll take the wind. I know," excuse me, sorry, I have to back up. She said, "I'm sorry, God. I know you have to do all the stuff." And then sweeping her arm out as if to take it all in, she said, "We'll take the wind." What a gift that simple moment was, and what a metaphor for life. Take the wind, even if in the moment you don't want it or appreciate it. It's life, and as mom believed, God made it, so embrace it. That's my mom in her essence. Even in moments of discomfort or unease, even in pain or anguish, she retained the core light of her being, which was love. Love for her family, for her 6 children, for her 17 grandchildren, from her great-grandchildren, all of whom she took care of and watched out for various times in her life. Love for her neighbors, love for anyone she met, really. Her golden rules were give, share, love, give some more, and take the wind. We grew up with lots of love, but not much money. But my mom's motto was, we can always put another potato in the pot. Her pot was actual, feeding many meals to my siblings' friends and my friends, and figurative, and like Mary Poppins' carpet bag, infinitely expansive. My mom was also fierce when required and stood up for her children, her grandchildren, and her values. She also had her limits, though, what with raising 6 spirited children, and often cautioned, "Don't make me get my Irish up." We knew then that the limit had been reached. You don't want her to get her Irish up. But like her, we realize that there are appropriate times to embrace that maxim, to stand up for those who have been wrong, to fight injustice, and we will always be ready to get our Irish up when it's needed. So I think, I think the getting the Irish up is kind of similar to "don't make me take you out." I brought you in. Don't make me.
Exactly. I think every mother has to have, regardless of background, there's some version of that you're going to find if you're raising kids at some point. Oh, thank you so much, Teresa. Bobby, do you want to share either of the poems or from Dear Mama before we close?
It's in my car. Can I go get it while you go to somebody else?
Yeah, go get it. We'll continue the conversation.
All right.
Okay. We will mute. Guys, while we wait for Bobby, if there's a quote, Kim, is there something, you have a Southern mother like I do. Is there something that resonates with you, whether it's, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. Southern mothers are colorful, they are sweet, but they are colorful.
Very colorful. You know, they always have a saying about anything. But, you know, our grandmother and our aunties, my auntie is her mama. So, yes. You know, I've been raised by all Southern women.
Right.
So it's like they believe fiercely in God. Everything is God, everything. God is on everything. And then is if your love for family, and then treat everybody with kindness, treat everybody right, period. It doesn't matter who they are, where they come from. And so that, I think that has a lot to do with Mama said, yep.
Yes, Mama said, right.
And I think like being around my cousin, I tell people all the time, like my cousin has a great influence over me. My poetry has, I mean, she lives in St. Louis, but she's a Southern woman too. She was born, raised in
St. Louis isn't the South?
No, it's Midwest. It's the gateway too. So, I mean, it's like being influenced by a lot of Southern women keeps me grounded, I think. It keeps me very much grounded of how to treat my poetry, how I write, how I perceive people, and how Miss Faye, how you said everyone is not, how do you say it now? You don't expect you from other people.
Yes.
And you just treat them how you suppose you think some people are supposed to this. Everybody doesn't have the same upbringing as you. So you treat people right regardless.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
And be copied. So I think that goes into a lot of our writings and how, because I take Marie's writings have influenced me. Have influenced my writings. I don't have any writings. I can tell y'all all day about my mama, because my mama is hilarious. She be doing all kinds of stuff. I can tell you, I should have wrote a piece about her car.
Oh, yes.
about Because my mama is serious about her car and about people driving it, about people messing it up, about people not, that's a whole piece by itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so
And
it's,
Kim, some of what you said, I've learned to summarize as saying I think one of the most important things I learned from not only my mother, but for those who mothered me, and Southern women do this, whether you want them to or not, y'all. If you're in their presence, you probably get mothered, so deal with it.
that's it.
Yeah.
So
The thing I learned
most.
most important thing out of everything though, is just to lead with love. In situations that people may not come to you exactly right. And Faye will tell you, I got a little bit of spunk in me. It ain't all sweet and candy. So I have to work on.
So on that note, I think Bobby's in position to read us this poem.
Yes.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Okay,
Good.
Want to read a few poems from the book real quick.
Yes.
Oh, he's in his car.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to sit in the car. Mama's story. I present to you my mother's story. This one is full of glory, dedicated to my eternal womb, created, resting in an everlasting universal tomb. She is the greatest woman I know. Daddy wasn't there, so mama had to run the show. She did do well, so now her story I tell. Before I was born, she was great, a woman destined to live her fate. She sacrificed her all for her babies. This here is a special lady. Of all the wonderful things she did, just for the sake of her kids. For us did she live, to us everything that she give. Her every struggle was for her offspring. Us into this world did she bring. Love and mercy was her personality. Caring for her children is her first priority. We love you, mother, signed with the signature of my sister and both of my brothers. To us did she give life, for her this book I write. And the poem that the chapter we've been talking about, I wrote a poem to it called I Brought You Into This World and I'll Take You Out.
Yes. Let's hear that.
I brought you into this world and I'll take you out. This is what my mama told me the day that I raised my voice at her in the shout. She said that if I ever raised my voice at her again, was the day that my funeral plans will begin. The content of this poem is based on a true story. For the magnificence of it, my mother gets all the glory. My mother would always be the one to smack me in front of my friends. I couldn't retaliate, so this was a battle I could never win. Sometimes my mother would make me so mad. Then she'd turn around and make me glad. I remember I used to make small remarks under my breath. She would get out her belt and whoop me under a shelf. When I acted bad at school, mama would spank me in front of the class. I learned my lesson at last. I was a hard-headed child. Every time I disobeyed my mother, my punishments became less mild. My mother was always the one to put me in check. Besides God, she is the one person that I have to respect. She knows just how to deal with me when I get out of line. When she gets through, I will be sure to mind. My mother knows my habits better than anyone. She knows she knows the things that I do to have fun. She also emphasized to me what mama drama is all about when she said, I brought you into this world and I will take you out. Uh, just one more if y'all don't mind.
Yes.
All right, this last one, I just want to read one more. It's a lot of ones in here, but I'm gonna read this last one called Y'all Gonna Miss Me, right?
Oh.
This is to everybody. Even when our mothers are still alive, they tell us that they know us like a book, which they do. They know us before we even think that we're gonna do something. They already know it, but we actually think we're being slick or thinking ahead of them. But they know us like a book, and it's like, how can she know me so well? But she do. My mother used to always tell us we're gonna miss her, and I used to be like, I mean, you 30 something, mama. Why is you saying this, right? A mother they ain't prophets or nothing, but they can foresee things that their kids can never foresee. And it's like they got an internal guide. They know when something's gonna go wrong, when they tell you not to do something, or they see things like that person's not right for you. And it's like, mom, I gotta live my life, or the things that we just rebel against them, they actually know what they talking about. And then it hurt them to see us do wrong, but they still love us despite how much we hurt them. And it's
Yes.
like,
I don't know, they got real strength. They are soldiers, they are warriors, mama warriors. My mother used to always tell me, y'all gonna miss me. So when she died, I wrote this poem to tell every child what a mother means when they say, y'all gonna miss me. Y'all gonna miss me. Y'all gonna miss me is what my mother used to say. Oh, how I wish she was here today. I know that things wouldn't be this way. I took her love for granted because I thought she was here to stay. Everyone has to die. When death overtook my mother, I asked God why. I figured that she would never go. That's why I wanted to know. I still wonder why she had to leave. For this reason, every day I grieve. What is life without my mother? To take her place, there is no other. Mother, I do miss you. Today, your every word rings true. I was hard-headed and didn't want to listen. Now it's you that I'm missing. You told me that no one will ever love you. You told me that no one will ever love me the way that you did. I remember hearing these words from you ever since I was a kid. Although everything that I heard, although everything that you said I heard, I gave little attention to your current word. Mother, I am so sorry for not listening. I am sitting here wishing that you was here with the family. Remembering your words when you said y'all gonna miss me. Dear Mama, this the book, y'all. Please go get it. Dear Mama by Bobby Bostic, The Life and Struggles of a Single Mother. Tell everybody about that book. I was so inspired by my mother and her story and what she did. 15 years after I wrote the book, I created a nonprofit called Dear Mama, Mothers Assisting Mothers Association. And that nonprofit, I go to different neighborhoods. I do pop-ups twice a month throughout St. Louis where I give free clothes, free shoes, free toys, and free books, right, to needy families like ours. No paperwork or nothing. They just come and get it. And also, we adopt families online. Like somebody might tell us we need a mattress over here, we need a box spring, we need a refrigerator. Right now, I don't have grants, so I'm doing it out of pocket. But this is how I keep my mama's name alive, right? Because nothing she did was in vain. And it took for me to lose her to realize this. And that's what I tell other young people, you shouldn't have to lose her to appreciate her greatness, right? But everything she did, it wasn't in vain. I'm continuing her charity work. And I know she'll be proud of me, but just because of who she was, this is what I'm doing, created a nonprofit in her name, wrote a book. It's not just about her, it's for every mother, and she'll love that. It ain't just about her life, even though it say the life and struggles of a single mother. Every mother that read this book can feel it. And
Absolutely.
it's the truth. And
Yeah.
all us artists on this panel, that's the gift that God gave us, right? This
Yeah,
is why we
absolutely.
express ourselves the way we do. So
Yeah.
salute to all the mothers. Mother's Day is every day, y'all. Happy Mother's Day to every mother on the panel listening. We salute y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you all so much for being with us today and for sharing your thoughts on the influence of our amazing mothers. Faye, did you have some closing comments before you go, or anyone else before we go?
The only thing I wanted to say was I very much appreciate Bobby interpreting the sayings that our mothers said about, I brought you into this world, I will take you out. Because for people who are not from our heritage, they might not understand that it wasn't a threat. It was,
Right.
hello, you need to pay attention.
Right.
No,
That's
my
exactly
mother
right.
didn't beat me. My mother didn't put
Right.
me out, but it was like, you're getting my Irish up. So
Right. Exactly.
you might want to back up, little girl.
That they did insist on that respectful fear and a little bit of reverence there, though. So
And I want to try
it
this
served
one.
us well.
Did anybody hear their mother say when they told you to do something and you said, well, Mama, why do I have to do that? And she said, because I said so.
Because I said so.
Yep.
You know,
When
I
I
think
was a child, I used to
because I
hate
said
that.
so. Yes.
I said, I'm going to get
Yes.
a degree and be educated, and I'll never speak to my children like that. And when they became teenagers, I said, are you serious right now? Because I said so.
I should have put
Yes.
I should have
Really
put
got
that
St.
chapter in the
Madison,
book
baby.
too.
Yes.
Yes,
I might have
absolutely.
to add that one in there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Well, thank you all so much. I appreciate your stories, your poems, honoring and reverencing our mothers. And as Faye reminds me, those who mothered us, period. and just sharing and highlighting the influence of mothers on our creative works. You know, I saw all these Mother's Day concerts and Mother's Day brunch, and I just couldn't imagine that somehow poets and literary folks were not included in that. So this is how Dear Mama happened, because I heard I had seen Bobby's book. I knew Faye had Motherwit. I'm like, hold up, this is a whole discussion and reading. And then we met Teresa at the Wednesday Club and told her about this. So we absolutely appreciate each one of you. Righteous, you are awesome. I think you've been holding out on us. So we need some more there that you're not sharing. So we're gonna have to work on that. Bobby, you are absolutely phenomenal. I could not put the book down. I will tell you all, it is an amazing read. My filter may be blocking some of it out, but that's the cover of Dear Mama. And please get that and support Bobby's efforts if you can. He has just an absolutely amazing story of transformation. And it became all the more special to me, Bobby, that you acknowledge the teachings and the influence of your mother and how she never, never, ever gave up on trying to steer you in the right direction. And that is the absolute epitome of a good mother, you all.
Yes.
So thank
And
you
before we
all.
end,
Thank
Marie,
you so
if we
much.
can have Righteous drop his information into chat and Bobby drop your information, and Teresa, so that way we have a quick way to get their books, their materials, or Righteous, if you're speaking somewhere, drop that in. And we'll say,
Righteous is everywhere. And
are you in Houston? You in Houston today? I'll come see you.
he can be virtually. Virtually, he can be.
I do have a sister in Dallas, so you know, somewhere close by I can get around there.
All right, let me know. I'm there.
And if you guys do not put your info in the chat, I will go back and pull it from your sites and pages and drop it in when I send out the recording.
Oh, okay, then let's do that.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll do
you.
that. And then you can have everything in there so we can share it. We will push this out to our email list and our Facebook and various social media sites. So thank you all so much. I appreciate your time. Happy Mother's Day to everybody who is on, and I
Thank you.
appreciate all of you so much. Thank you.
Thank
Peace
you.
and blessings, everyone.
See ya.
Right.
Peace.
I appreciate it. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.